Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine? It's not fun. Fine Sunday evening here. Ready for another episode of FMTV Weekly. I am Peter Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. And so we can all share in this misery together. A 6-game losing streak. Can't help but call for Phil Neville's head. And that's what the old interwebs is saying all over the place. But as always, I don't do this show by myself. I do it with everybody's favorite uncle. Everybody say hi to everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Ed. How you doing, Ed? Ed,
Peter,
what
I'm
happened?
not feeling myself today.
Is that a... No, that's a different joke. Is that a banana? I mean, what's going on?
I did eat a lot of bananas today, so maybe that's why I'm feeling so weird.
You're feeling a little yellow?
A little yellow for sure. But it's probably because we lost, man. We're just terrible. Terrible, I tell you.
It's weird. It's weird. The mouth doesn't move. I mean, I expect the mouth to move, when you're talking.
Like I said, I'm not feeling myself today, so it's kind of weird. But I don't know why I'm smiling so much.
I don't think anybody's feeling themselves today after a 6-game losing streak. Nobody's feeling themselves. Everybody's feeling a little like a banana.
I don't know about banana, Peter Brown, but I think enough of this tomfoolery. I'm back, Peter Brown.
All right.
As much as I love Inter Miami, dude. I wasn't feeling myself today, man, and I think it showed.
It's bad when I got a neighbor that I talk to when I go walk my dog. His dogs and my dog, they love each other. And he sees me walking down the sidewalk dressed like this. And he doesn't care about soccer. He doesn't know much about it. But apparently he's still staying up on it a little bit because he looks at me and he goes, 6 games, huh? I'm like, yeah,
rubbing
man,
it in.
6 games.
I was out in the town today and I was wearing this shirt.
Yeah.
And I got more than a couple of looks, and a couple people mentioned they're not doing too well, are they? Is Messi ever coming? Somebody asked me.
The situation right now is messy. I'll tell you that. The situation's pretty messy.
I see what you did there. But dude, yeah, it's not good, and it's kind of embarrassing wearing the shirt right now because people make
I'm
their
never
comments.
embarrassed. I mean, he starts ragging me on Inter Miami a little bit, and he's a big Dolphins fan. So, and I like the Dolphins too, but at this point, I'm combative, and it's like, all right, well, how about Tua? Is Tua gonna, can he make it a season? I mean, he bangs his head every so often, and he gets carted off the field.
Oh, I can't,
Right. How about them Dolphins? I don't want to talk smack about the other football team that I like. I like 2 football teams in South Florida, but I couldn't help it.
But Peter,
all right.
I guess we need to talk about somebody that does. They still sell all these shirts. We got to talk about them.
And here's the thing. I want Inter Miami to win for me and for you guys in the chat. But I really want Inter Miami to win for Caneswear because Caneswear has got a lot of Inter Miami gear in their store. And when the team loses, that doesn't help sales. So go, if you listen to this show and you like what we do, go support Caneswear. That's how you can help us. And go support Caneswear. Buy your Inter Miami t-shirt there, your hat. You need a new hat. You probably need a new hat. Go to Caneswear. They're located in Davie, Florida, just south of 595 on University Drive. Next home game, you're coming from Miami? Stop there first. Give yourself an extra 20, 30 minutes. Stop there first. Get yourself some new gear. Support a local small business. So, and again, they're not doing well when the team doesn't do well. So help them out. As you know, so we're going to get to the chat in just a second, say hi to everybody, but also don't forget you can leave a voicemail 786-474-4435. I've got one so far. So if you've got a voicemail, you want to let your voice be heard, you want to bitch a little bit, that's where you do it.
Well, Peter, we had a lot of people comment already on our Twitter. There's a couple of them on our Instagram. Usually when we lose, people aren't that vocal. It's pretty, low key.
Well, they are right now.
But right now they're vocal. Right now they're leaving their messages. I think you putting that picture also kind of helped because some people agree. There's actually been some people that don't.
Yeah, I saw that. And here's the thing, the whole Tata thing. I put up the photo. I brought up, I don't know if you guys remember, I brought up Tata Martino a couple of weeks ago. And very quickly in the chat room, I was shot down saying, no, he's going to Boca. No, he's going to Boca. Well, you thought he was going to Boca, but he's not. He didn't. And there's a really good article in the Athletic that I read, and I shared part of it with Ed, where in the article he does talk about MLS. He talks about why he wasn't interested in Boca. He talks about Mexico. He talks about several things. So we'll dig into that a little bit tonight. But yeah, there's a lot of opinions one way or the other about him. So let's get going in the chat and let's hear your opinions. And again, if you want to leave a voicemail, do that. But Ed, who's in the chat? Who do we need to say hello to?
Well, Peter, there's Daniel Connor was the first one that was on here. I hope I'm saying his last name right.
It looks like Conor to me, but whatever.
Conor, could be Conor. Kevin Gonzalez, our good friend Kevin Gonzalez is also with us. Always listening to us. We also got our another good friend, B. King. Brian King is with us. And we got, the guy up north, Richard Greenberg. That guy just travels all the time. I kind of envy that fella. Chris Menendez is also with us. How you doing, Chris? Another guy we see every so often, Carter, is also with us. And another guy we see pretty often, who hooks us up all the time, Patrick Barnhill. You already know who it is when I say he hooks us up.
I'm looking at the next person on the list, Ed.
Okay. Jose Velasquez is with us all as well. He's always, supporting us. So thanks, Jose. Lucas is with us.
Hang on a second. I want to read Lucas's comment real quick. Respectfully, this title is a joke. Tata should not even come near this club. He is just as much of a joke, awful coach. I wonder if Lucas is Mexican because, the Mexican media and Mexican fans did not really like Tata. But
well, I got to say, Peter, sorry to my Mexican friends. I got a lot of Mexican friends. The Mexican player pool this last World Cup was one of the lowest they've had in a long time. So I don't think any coach would have had, they're lucky to have been in the World Cup.
And the Mexican fans and media are some of the most brutal in the world. Holy cow, they're brutal.
But I just came from a Mexican restaurant. It's funny. I was wearing this shirt, and they were like talking about it. And so I did ask one person what he thought about Tata. He actually thought they were good. He was good because he got them to the World Cup. So
Okay.
But he also agreed with me. The talent pool in Mexico has gone down, and the U.S. talent has gone up. And all of our guys are young in the U.S.
Yeah, that is true.
All young.
All right, who else have we got in the queue?
Did I mention? Lucas was the last one. Louis Rodriguez is also with us.
Telling me the neighbor's telling the truth. Yeah, I know he is.
Oh boy. Nico, the King of Fall. How you doing, Nico?
King of all.
Oh, King of. Man. Oh, dude. Yeah, I can't read. And we got One World, One Goal, of course, always supporting us. And we're going to be talking about Miami FC in a little bit as well.
They won.
And that's it for now. It's a very heavy live chat right now, guys.
Hang on. We do have, there's one you missed. Esteban Dito, who was very active on Twitter as well, calling for the guillotine on Phil Neville. He is. Everyone is acting bananas. This football club keeps acting like a banana republic. Inter Miami should be pumped. Miami FC should be pumped up to make things worse for Inter Miami. And
Well, that's funny because I don't even see Esteban Dito's. Anybody else there?
Well, just I always like to put these kind of comments up. Peter got it right. How to pronounce pronouncing his last name.
Oh shoot, Koner, huh?
I'm scrolling. Okay, that's it for now.
That doesn't happen very often. Peter usually messes up more than I do.
No, that's my deal, is messing up the names. That's what I do. That's my speciality, if you would say. Oh, Lucas says he is not Mexican. He is Brazilian. Oh, they're just as bad, though. But I've been watching Tata for a while. He will not fit us. Maybe. I don't know. So getting to Tata, when I mention his name, it's just because it's more of a it was just a different way to say that we need to fire the coach, right? Or we should talk about firing the coach. So obviously I came up with a title and a thumbnail that maybe gets you talking. I mean,
Mm-hmm. And it has.
Not quite clickbait, but close, right? and just to get you talking and get you thinking. But Tata Martino has had success in this league. He has had success with one of our players in Martinez. So didn't he coach Messi, and we're hoping to get Messi? I think he did, didn't he?
He sure did. And
so there's some connection there. There's some connecting fibers.
That would be an incentive, I think. I think they know each other pretty well. And Roberto Rivadeneira says he's here.
I see that.
There you go. Good old Roberto. Yeah, like you said, Peter, he's got MLS experience. He coached Messi before. That's an incentive to have Messi show up. Maybe they talk to the guy and say, hey man, we're thinking about letting Neville go. Would you be interested? And also, could you give a quick phone call to that Lionel Messi fella and let him know that you're coming, so that maybe he can change his plans, not go back to Barcelona and show up over here. I don't know if you heard about that report. Somebody came up with it wasn't confirmed, that apparently his kids were they signed him up for their old school. It could be a lie because nobody confirmed it, but somebody came up with that, and I thought it was if that is true, then maybe he is going to Barcelona. But why would he go to Barcelona again, man? He already did everything that he could there. I just think he'd have more to win coming to the United States. Maybe not money-wise. Saudi Arabia would give him more money. But,
but we can give him. Look, I would imagine Apple gets involved with that. So, anyways, we could. I mean, we've got plenty of time to talk Messi. Today we're talking Neville, right? Let's where we are now. I mean, Neville might not make it to the summer, where Messi may or may not come. Right? He may not get that opportunity, but Esteban Dito says in the chat, realistically speaking, Inter Miami won't fire Neville at all, no matter how much worse it gets. They simply let him ride it for the rest of the remaining year. So, I don't know. I don't think so. I think so we've got a game against Miami FC on Wednesday night. I'm going to be going to that game. Hopefully you guys are going to go as well. And
I actually asked you before, and we kind of did the show before the show, and I was like, I think this is what's going to happen. He's probably going to use the second team because he wants to save his players for the MLS because, that's kind of more important right now. And what did Peter Brown say?
Because they've lost 6 in a row. I don't remember. I was trying to remember what I said. I don't know what I said, Ed. But they've lost 6 in a row. Neville has to prove a point right now. He can't rest his players. He cannot sit and just say, a lot of MLS teams, most MLS teams in the first round do not take the U.S. Open Cup Series, which drives me nuts. I love this tournament. I love the concept of the tournament. And most MLS teams do not take it serious until much later in the rounds, maybe the semifinal. But I think Neville will take it serious. He has to take it serious because even though when we say 6 in a row or 7 in a row, we're talking about MLS competitions. But as fans, we're not going to look at it as MLS competitions. We're going to talk all competitions. 7 losses in a row, losing to a lower division team is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It would not be embarrassing to lose to Miami FC if we were doing well. If we were having a good MLS season and then we lost to Miami FC, you'd go, well, they didn't play they played their backups. You know, whatever. Nobody cares about the Open Cup. I mean, you could make so many excuses, right? But when your season is in the tanker, the Open Cup can be your salvation. Right. If you can make a good run in the Open Cup, you can win a trophy, for example, in a bad year within MLS. It's possible. It's doubtful with this club right now, but it's possible.
That kind of happened. I don't know if you remember with the Miami Fusion back in 2000. They actually made it to the final of the Open Cup, even though the 2000 MLS campaign wasn't that great. They made it to the final of the Open Cup, and that team basically became the 2001, with a few more changes. They became 2000 team that was so spectacular and almost won they won the Supporter Shield, and they did a good year in 2001. But Peter Brown, I think you're right. Now that I think of it, it would be embarrassing to lose to Miami FC. But Miami FC is probably they're on a high right now, right? You just told me the score.
I mean, they played one here. Let's not get too carried away. So Miami FC had a game a couple hours ago. Played today. They beat the Las Vegas Lights 4-1. I actually wanted to watch that game, but I was a little busy, so I didn't get to it. So
was I here?
The Las Vegas Lights are currently in last place.
Oh.
They have not won a game this year. They've only lost one game, which was today, but they've tied 4 games. So they're mostly ties. So they're not a good team. So let's not get carried away and think Miami FC is some sort of world beater. Miami FC is currently sitting in the Eastern Conference in 6th place. They have 1 win, 2 losses, and 4 ties. So, as I think you would say a lot of times, Ed, so you say there's a chance.
Well, I don't know. If it depends if Neville wants to come out, and save his players for the MLS game, or like you say, it would be pretty embarrassing to lose against this team.
You can't.
He might come out with a. I think Joseph Martinez will definitely start. He might rest Campana because I think Campana actually looked somewhat decent. I mean, he had a couple shots. I think he needs to come back a little bit more.
I agree. He did that more last year.
From the game. Yeah, and when he did come back and get the ball, he made a really good play. I don't know if you saw. Mm-hmm. He made a play to the side. I think it was to Negri or whoever else was on the left-hand side, and they were able to go up, and they created a really cool chance. So maybe he needs to play a little bit farther back. I don't know. Just talking out loud.
At the end of the day, I think right now we've got Pizarro playing as at number 10, and he's very active and he's playing well, but he can't
well-ish.
He can't do the job of making that connecting pass to the forwards. It's not happening through him. Whereas with Pozuelo, it did happen. So he's right. I like him as a player this year. I love his hustle. I'm one of his biggest supporters. But in that number 10 role, it is not working. So the forwards aren't getting as much service. Now, this game, the way I saw it, I'm no analyst, but the way I saw it is, before I was talking that before Campana was playing, they were playing so many ground balls and just trying to knick-knack it into the short pass it in. This last game, we went tons of crosses, just over and over. I don't know if it's because they said, hey, we got a tall guy in there. Let's try to give it a shot. And so they were doing that a
And
lot, I thought. And so there
yeah,
were some
and it actually looked
opportunity.
better. We
They
had so
did.
many. We had, I think, 21 shots. I think I
That's
read.
the frustrating thing. I think we look like a better team. And so that's where you go, is it? And this is a dangerous thing. I know there's people in our chat that will definitely yell at but is it the players or is it the coach? Because the players, I mean, you put the team on the field, it's their job to do the job. And they're not doing the job. But then I guess it's the coach because he's not putting the right combination of players. Like, why is Stefanelli still on the field?
Good question. I think I thought the same thing as well. I think, um, I would have wanted to see Borgelin in there. Two big guys. The centers could have gone to either big guy. I think Campana was replaced by Borgelin, who played for a little bit, and he got I think a header or two. I think it
Yeah,
would have been
Borgelin's
interesting to
okay.
have both of those guys in there at the same time. I'd love to see what it looks like to have both of those guys in there.
Yeah.
I did like Pizarro. He played the whole game finally. But yeah, he's definitely not the 10 that we need, and that's why I'm angry, Peter Brown, because Bryce Duke was never given that chance of playing the number 10 position. I think before he left, they should have at least tried it. I mean, give the guy a chance for God's sake. But no, and look at him play in Montreal.
I didn't watch the game, but I know
I
know both of our players started.
They both started and they contributed,
and they won.
They were good.
But let's also. I saw some tweets on there like saying, "Oh, we let these guys go and look at them now." Let's not get that excited. Montreal sucks.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm most angry about is because I think Bryce Duke should have been given the opportunity to play
I agree.
in that position, and he never did. Neville didn't have faith in him, and but yet he lets Pizarro play in that position basically. So that's annoying to me.
Right. Okay. I get that.
I'm angry because he should have given the guy a chance.
So again, next on Wednesday, it's a very important game for this team. Richard Greenberg brings up a proposition. If Miami FC wins, Peter and Ed should wear their kits on here next week. Do you have a Miami FC kit, Ed?
Not from the newer Miami FC. I've got the old Miami FC kits. I know you have one.
I have 3.
Oh, you're gonna have to give me one.
I have 3. And the funny story, I've told this story before. I have 3 Miami FC kits, not because I'm that big of a fan. I bought 1, and they screwed it up so many times that they kept sending me more to try to make it better. Like they sent me the wrong shirt, and I was like, okay, This is great, but this is not what I ordered. And they said, well, you could keep that one. We'll send it again. And then they sent me the right shirt, and then they also threw in like the white like training jersey or something. I don't know what it is, a white shirt. So I have actually 3 because they made it right at the end, but it was hard to get it right. They took a long time to like emailing the guys going, hey, look, dudes, you sent me the wrong thing. Can you make it right? Eventually they did. So I have 3.
You came out winning.
I did. I have 3 Miami FC shirts. Richard Greenberg, I will wear my Miami FC shirt here next week if Miami FC wins. I will do that. Only it's not like I'm, all of a sudden. I mean, I want all the Miami teams to win, but when they're playing against Miami in Miami FC versus Inter Miami, I'm always going to go Inter Miami. But so, all right. So let's go back to the Tata thing. So part of the reason I brought up Tata, and there's some other people brought some other people like some other names up that I couldn't remember the names.
Put them up, guys. If you guys got any other coaches,
Gallardo was a name that people were bringing up. That he was rumored before, and I don't know where. I mean, the last he was coaching at River Plate, and on Wikipedia it says he coached last in River Plate in 2022. So I don't know if he's coaching there this year or not. I don't know if he's available, but he was a name that was heavily rumored the first year, So that's another name. But the reason we specifically mention Tata is because of this article in The Athletic. So big, long article where, he talks about his time with the Mexican team and how he talks about how awful the Mexican media is and that, he didn't necessarily want to go back to Boca Juniors because it's a very political situation as well. And he doesn't want that kind of stress right now. But when he talks about it, he's saying here that, you can find good projects all around the world and he's open to it. But at the same time, he's enjoying his time living in his town and Mendoza, going to see
I think he's in.
Rosario or wherever it was called.
Oh, Rosario. You're right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And he's a big fan of going to see the Newell's Old Boys because I think one of his sons is one of the assistant coaches or something there. And that's kind of like the team that he grew up cheering for. Anyways.
Right.
He does say here, and this was a key thing here, right, in this little paragraph. MLS is my weakness. I was part of an extraordinary project with Atlanta United that had a clear direction, a lot of communication, and similar objectives that were established very quickly and executed. After coaching in MLS, I became attracted to it. I liked the league. The possibility of returning to MLS is always there.
Nice.
Then he was straight asked about the Inter Miami job.
Inter Miami.
Yeah. But it says here Martino does have a personal policy of not speaking publicly about teams that have a manager in place. So naturally he avoided the question about reuniting with Messi in Miami, and he just straight up said no. And that's because he won't comment on Inter Miami because Inter Miami has a head coach. So there is no commentary on that as of now.
And he also coached Joseph, so I think that would be
exactly
another good thing. Yeah.
Right. So he's, it says Phil Neville is Inter Miami's coach. His contract was extended through 2023. So, so that's why he's not gonna comment on that. But he also continues saying players of that class, meaning Messi, transform leagues. He transformed the French league. It's a higher level than MLS, so perhaps it isn't as obvious. But I can imagine that when PSG plays away to Ajaccio, that city comes alive with the arrival of Messi. In MLS, a league that continues to take steps forward and one that seeks a level of excellence anytime it makes changes to welcome the best player in the world would be incredibly impactful. Martino's return to MLS would certainly be as well. So again, he says, just because I've coached in MLS doesn't mean I'll go back to anything. So there's no guarantees, but it shows promise because he's got a weakness. MLS is his weakness. And it's interesting that the Athletic writer here is specifically asking about Inter Miami. So it's like the writing's on the wall. Phil Neville knows the writing's on the wall. Questions were asked to him in the last post-game conference, kind of like, "Are you in the hot seat?" And he bandies. He didn't like the question. He bandies about it a little bit and kind of dodges it a little bit. He does take responsibility, but he feels like he has support from the club. But I don't know, Ed. Have you ever been fired, Ed?
No, I've never been fired. But
I haven't either. But I have fired people before. And I could tell you, the people that I let go, they also felt like they were in a good position.
Mm-hmm.
Because just it's natural, right? A lot of times you don't see it coming. You should, because as a manager, if I'm doing my job right, I've prepared you like, hey, we're having meetings, you're not meeting expectations and things like that. But still, there's a level of confidence that you just naturally have. And as someone like Phil Neville, being a former player, he's got a level of confidence. And so he's not going to see it coming when it happens. Alonso didn't see it coming when it happened. So...
Well, I think he did. Remember, he kind of mentioned...
You think so? I don't think so. They kind of screwed that whole thing up, didn't they?
Well, they did screw it up, yeah. But he thought he was fired, and I guess he wasn't. And then, But
that's
a
because
whole
they told him
different story.
basically he was fired.
They told him he was fired, but he wasn't really fired because
Right.
they said he wasn't.
That's
So it was a
they just
it was
mishandled
a soap
the
opera.
situation. So
Yeah.
So the conversation is there. He's available. Is there okay, if you don't like Tata, what coach, and chat, answer this. What coach is out there that you think can get the job done with this collection of players? Because you're not going to get a whole new team. This isn't Europe or South America where you can just fire a bunch of people and spend a bunch of money. We got to work with the MLS rules. Chris Henderson's picking the players, and we can start to question Chris Henderson too at some point. But who?
I think if you look down the chat, if you start with Kata, he said Pat Vieira. He would be one person. I mean, he coached in MLS already, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He knows MLS a little
mixed
bit.
results, I think, right?
Just go down that line, and you're going to see all these
all the names
candidates, Peter Brown.
But I don't see. I am 100%, honest. If you guys know this show, I'm like drilled in on American soccer stuff. I know some of these names. Some of them, I don't. I don't really know who Antonio Conte is. I've heard the name. I don't know where he coaches. Yeah. I've heard the name. I don't know where he coaches. I don't know if he's in Italy.
Okay. Yeah, but that's another thing. He doesn't know anything about MLS, so that's always a challenge. The good thing about Tata is that he's familiar with MLS. He's already had a championship team. He knows the process.
I am a firm believer you should have some MLS experience. It's not a requirement. Tata didn't have MLS experience when he took Atlanta to the championship, but he got it now.
Look at Richard Grimberg. He's giving us his coach.
I saw that. Please.
Would you take him? Would you take
Bob Bradley. Would you take Bob Bradley?
I think he's a good coach, but I don't know. Right now he's going through, he's got his issues with Toronto. I don't think he's going to leave anytime soon. They might let him go. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a tough one because is it the coach or is it the situation within that club? You look at what he did with LAFC. He took LAFC and made them competitive instantly. That's great. He could not get them across and win to the goal line to win a championship.
Right.
It took somebody else to do that.
Right, that's true. Uh-huh.
So is he the guy that potentially could take us to get a better level, but not quite where we want to be, but one step closer? Maybe. I don't know. Richard would have to tell us. Is the Toronto situation, the front office, is it such a mess that Bob Bradley's kind of at a no-win situation? I don't really know. Kata is also mentioning the Saudi Arabian ex-coach this past World Cup.
Uh-huh.
I like Esteban's. Guy. I like Esteban's, Ed. I'm sorry to interrupt. At this moment, I will welcome Ted Lasso.
Dude, Ted would be awesome.
I'm all about it. Did you watch? Okay. Are you watching Ted Lasso?
Of course I'm watching Ted Lasso.
Did you watch the most recent episode when they were in Amsterdam?
I sure did. I saw
Did you know that Ted Lasso invented total football?
Oh.
That was amazing.
He had to get high to get to think of it.
But the beauty is,
it was awesome because
he wasn't high.
He thought he invented something.
Yeah, but he wasn't high.
That's the thing. He wasn't high. He thought he was.
He thought. And he's sitting there. He's sitting there. Triangles. Wait a minute. Triangles.
Everybody moves up, and they just as long as they cover up that space.
Working in a triangle, moving up, constantly moving. You've got someone behind you at all times, and all this. I loved it. I loved it. And Beard just is like, Coach Beard is like, did you come up with that all by yourself? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, the Dutch came up with that about, 30, 40 years ago.
Then they called it total football. I love that. Yeah.
and he didn't get insulted by it. He didn't get insulted. He just goes, okay, total football. You can write it down.
Yeah, total. Yeah. And he's like, so you think we should play that one? Beard's like, yes, I think we should. Yes. So they're going to play total football. Awesome.
He invented it.
That was a great episode.
It was awesome. Hey, Steve Munoz also makes a comment here that in any other league around the world, Phil would have been under intense pressure or already let go. Agreed. His friendship with Beckham, I know we love to harp on that, but there's something to it because, there's certain coaches like, what's the name of the coach in Montreal? I'm surprised he's still there because he was the guy that was in DC United. I mean, he got a win, but I don't think he has much longer as well. So, but yeah, Phil's got to feel the heat right now. He says he feels like the ownership has got his back and all that kind of stuff. But man,
yeah.
And here's the thing: I want to ask if any of you guys watch this are actually some of the reporters that are covering the team. Don't beat around the bush. Don't be a wimp. Go and ask them the tough questions. I think sometimes the reporters in these press conferences, they're almost scared to ask the tough question. I think Franco does a good job, but even Franco will sometimes couch it a little bit. And I understand. I've been in some of those press conferences, not with Inter Miami, but with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. And you don't want to be a dick to the guy. So they bandy around and kind of go around a little bit, asking if you feel like your seat's hot and all that kind of stuff. And they ask, and the one thing I will give Phil though is when the question does come up, somebody asks who's responsible, and he says ultimately I am. I will,
right. He takes responsibility, and I think that's true. I gotta say, Marcelo Clara would have tossed Phil out already. Yeah, I think Marcelo would have been a little tougher. I think when it comes down to it, it will be Jorge Mas who does it, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't know. Kata mentions Berhalter. I think he's joking. He's got to be joking.
Yeah,
I don't know. He had success in Columbus.
Yeah, he did. I was never a fan of his. I think he needed a little more, club time before he went for the U.S. National team. I think we would have gone higher with a better coach. But I think we would have advanced a little bit more because I think we've got the talent. The U.S. has the talent, and they're all young. So hopefully, next coach will be a good one.
Thierry Henry, maybe. How about Thierry Henry?
Interesting, but there's another guy. I think he needs some more, coaching experience.
Here's one I would love to see, but it's not going to happen. Daniel Kohner is saying Jesse Marsch. I would love to see Jesse Marsch, but he's not done in Europe. People keep saying that Messi's not done in Europe. Jesse ain't done in Europe.
Yeah, Jesse's still. I think he's good enough. He got to Europe. I don't think he should step back to MLS for a while.
Eric Thomas checking in saying, we can already start questioning Chris Henderson. What in the world made him think we would survive the season without a legit number 10? Why would you let Pozuelo walk? He was a great player for this club. I think the answer is Messi. I've said it before. We are being handcuffed. We're being held hostage by Messi right now. This club feels like they have a real chance at getting Messi. And so you're not bringing back Pozuelo if you think you're bringing in Messi, I guess. I mean, it'd be great to have both, but that's not
right. And it just got complicated with the whole Gregory thing. Gregory got, he got his a bonus, I guess you would say, but Gregory was, him getting hurt really changed this team. He was a guy that was keeping the pieces together until Messi showed up. I think that was the idea. Keep us competitive until Messi shows up, and he left. So we just didn't have the DP space, man. We had to get rid of somebody. I think I think they're planning on getting the other Barcelona player. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Peter Brown. What's his
Busquets?
name? Defensive midfielder Busquets. There you go. I think they're also planning on that. So I guess they needed to think about the cap space and all that stuff because they want to get him as a non-DP. So I think it just got complicated for them if they got Pozuelo, and Pozuelo wanted DP money as well.
He did.
So that I think that was the big issue. That's why they weren't able to keep him. I wish they would have. I wish they would have bought out Pizarro. To keep
there was
Pozuelo,
definitely
but
there was definitely a way to do it. I'm looking for a chat that I saw.
I just think that they didn't want to mess around too much and lose the opportunity of getting Messi because it was going to get complicated.
Speaking about coaches, Eric Thomas is asking about what about that guy that coached Dallas a couple of years ago? He was from South Florida. He also played for Miami FC, the original Miami FC. And we're talking about Luchi Gonzalez. Luchi Gonzalez got the job at San Jose Earthquakes, so he's not available.
Yeah. He's at San Jose.
Right.
He would have been interesting. He was familiar with South Florida.
Russell Buffton says, Beckham won't fire Neville. Question is, will the Moss brothers step in if things get even worse? I don't think that's exactly what's going to happen. Beckham is not going to have to do the dirty job. I wouldn't expect him to. I don't think that's, Moss, Jorge Moss is the managing director of this club. It's his job to fire. The way I look at it, even though we'd say maybe it's Beckham's because it's his buddy, but it's Jorge.
But no, I think Jorge Moss has probably got the experience. He's probably fired so many people, man. He probably knows how to do it. How to do it gently.
It's never easy, Ed. It is never easy. It's never easy. All right, let's. Okay, hang on a second. I do. Well, all right, let's do this. Let's go to a voicemail, and then when we come back, maybe we could talk about the two new players and just discuss how well do we think they did. But let's first let's hear what the voicemail has to say.
It's time for your voicemail. Hello.
Mi gente, it's your boy Yankee. Big shouts out to all the family members. Listen, I'm going to try to keep this quick, moving fast. The next several days are going to be crucial days when it comes to what happens with your current coach and the direction of this team. It's great to be competitive in matches, but when a coach starts saying stuff like, we deserve to win, and you're not getting results, it starts to take a real bad look, and people get real tired of it. You guys have this game with, we're going to say your rivals. They're just as bad in their league as you guys are in MLS. In the end, there's way more pressure on Inter Miami than there is Miami FC. I would not be shocked if this time around, instead of winning 1-0, you guys lose 1-0 or you lose 2-0. That's just the way things are going for you guys right now. I would not be shocked if a Miami FC player like Telfer or Salazar ends up shocking you guys. I would also not be shocked if your coach plays 3 in the back, trying to give McVay some time, then he plays Miller in the middle, and then he starts Junior on the right side. Good luck to y'all, because if this goes sour, y'all might definitely be talking about some personnel changes when it comes to your coach. Holler at you later, players.
How about our buddy there from Maryland throwing out some Miami FC player names? I mean, he knows, the lower level. Always respect that.
Yeah, he does. And
what do you think?
Let's start talking, I guess, Peter, about the. Did you have another phone call? Or?
Yeah, we got another one. But I mean, I agree with Yankee. The seat's hot. I mean, look, last year they had a similar skid, right? And they brought in Pozuelo. I don't remember where we were as far as our record this time last year when we played Miami FC in the Open Cup. I don't remember. I want to say we were probably better than we are right now. And that game was tight. It was fun. I can't wait to go down to Miami, FIU Stadium, Ricardo Silva Stadium, whatever you want to call it, and watch that game. It is going to be a blast, but it can very easily go Miami FC's way this game. It's their home field. It's crappy turf, and we go in there. Even though we've lost 6 games in a row, they may be going in there overconfident because, hey, we're MLS, they're USL, whatever. But it's definitely a game we can easily lose. And yes, Ed, there is another voicemail. I don't know who it's from.
Hey, Peter. Hey, Uncle Ed. It's Kevin Gonzalez calling from up in Wellington. Hope everything is well. Normally I don't call into the show, but it's just the best right now what's going on. First of all, I'll be at the U.S. Open Cup game on Wednesday night when Inter Miami takes on Miami FC. By the way, kudos to Miami FC on their 4-1 victory today over Las Vegas in the USL. This game on Wednesday night is a referendum game for Phil Neville, plain and simple. Inter Miami loses this game, Phil Neville has to go. He has to go. Phil Neville is not the answer for this club going forward. I applaud his effort. I applaud what he's tried to do, but it's very, very clear that he's lost the locker room at this point, and we need a change. Whether it's Tata, whether it's an assistant, something has to happen. We're not headed in the right direction, and hopefully we can right this ship. The season isn't lost, but Neville is not the answer. And if he loses on Wednesday night down at FIU, get him out of there. Now, anyways, great show as always. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you guys on Wednesday, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. I will be there on Wednesday for sure. Ed's a little bit challenging. He works night shift, so it may be a little more challenging. But I will definitely be there. So I don't think if he loses on Wednesday, he's done. I mean, we might want him to be done. I don't necessarily think he's done. He's got the Columbus Crew, and let's be honest, I saw this in the chat earlier. We can mark that up as an L. Just forget about Wednesday's game. We can mark Columbus off as an L. They are a good team this year. They weren't so great last year. They are good. They've got Wilfred Nancy as their head coach. He's doing good things. They're beatable. I mean, but not by us.
Peter, it's going to be tough, man. I think Phil's got until the next home game, to tell you the truth. I think if we win against Miami FC, he's got some breathing space. We can lose the game in Columbus, but I think the next home game, if we lose it, that might be it.
So next home game. I think he could have up till May 6th. May 6th, I think it is our next home game against, who are we playing that game? You never know. What am I asking?
I never know, Peter.
Because
I'm going to be there.
You were asking me who we're playing this weekend, so that's why I'm like, you don't know. It's Atlanta. I thought it was Atlanta. So we've got Atlanta coming and then New England coming.
Yeah. We lose against Atlanta, I think he's gone. Because
Atlanta's on the rise again.
Rest of these games.
Atlanta's on the rise again. They're doing better. So Atlanta had a bad couple years. They're doing better this year. New England, top of the squad, top of the league, or at least on the East. They're doing well as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man. I think that's it for him. Let's move on to the players. What was your thoughts of Kamal Miller and Dixon Arroyo?
So I thought. So from what I understand, Miller didn't practice with the team at all because of his green card issues. It just got cleared up, so he wasn't able to practice at all. So having said that, I thought Miller was good. I think he broke up some good plays. He showed his height at times. I don't think anything was his fault. I thought he was good. I was impressed. I think he's only going to get better with the team. You know, I was happy with Miller. What do you think about Miller? Let's just go with him first.
Yeah, I think they played with the three in the back. I thought they looked pretty decent, I would say, considering, I didn't know that he hadn't practiced. He definitely did well for somebody that hasn't practiced with the other players. And as for that defense, Um, I liked it. I think we came out good in this game. It was somewhat refreshing to see Pizarro play up there with Campana. Stefanelli he's a mystery to me as well. I think we could have used another forward up there, a real forward up there. I think they need to give somebody else a chance up there. Dixon Arroyo I thought was pretty good. He practiced the whole week, so he was a little more familiar with everybody. He was able to make some cutbacks. He looked pretty decent, man. But I did notice he's a one-footed type of guy. He's a right-footed fella, and I noticed he had a problem turning to his left. That if anybody else saw that, that's a big handicap right there. He wasn't. I never saw him turn to his left. He was always favoring his right. And there were some plays where he could have passed it towards the left, and I think it would have been better. But he'd always go towards his right. I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed that, and that was something that was pretty interesting. I did speak in the Spanish show with Ecuadorian journalist John Lester Hidrobo, and he was telling me how important this player is. He was the best number 5 in Ecuador at the time. He was the captain of that team, so he said he's a good player. He's apparently not, and he said it, and I think in the press conference, he's not the type that's going to dive to recover that ball, which is a problem because Gregory did that.
He kind of said he's not a Gregory, which is a problem.
That is a problem. But at least this game, I think he was decent enough. He got the job done. He's able to play that position, but I just think he's no Gregory, and he said that too.
Yeah, I thought overall Arroyo did pretty good. I thought at times he maybe was surprised by the speed of play in MLS. I don't know if in Ecuador maybe he has a little more time on the ball or a little more time to react, because I thought there was a couple times where his reactions were a little slow.
Yeah,
but overall
they play slow in Ecuador. I mean, they hold on to the ball a lot,
right?
And so that's he's going to have to adapt to the speed of Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and everything's a little more physical here. They're going to just bump into you and knock you over and take the ball away and maybe get a foul, maybe not. But overall, I thought he did pretty good. He may not be a Gregory, but also it's so early to tell. But here's the thing, Ed. I was already ready for a show title. I had a show title before the game started. I was hoping for a win. And so I was going to just do a simple thing of the picture of Miller and Arroyo and then the logo from Star Wars, A New Hope. And I had this idea, like, okay, these guys, A New
Fiddlesticks. Hope. We're going to have to recycle.
No one will remember I said this.
Down the road.
Right.
You could use it when Messi shows up.
Sure, there you go. And I just thought it'd be funny having this because we're Star Wars nerds and all that kind of stuff. But the team didn't get the memo. They didn't get the memo. The players didn't get the memo. These were not the players we're looking for, as the stormtroopers would say. These are not the droids you're looking for.
I see where you're going. You're going.
I mean, it's no better than Ezra joke, but.
Oh, that's I wasn't going to use it anymore, Peter. But thanks for bringing it up.
I'm going to keep bringing it up. Mm-hmm. Louis Rodriguez in the chat is saying, regardless of the team who Phil faces, he's done one way or the other.
One way or another, he's going to get it. One way
or the other.
Yeah, that's where I was going. All right.
One way.
He's going to get it. Blondie.
Yeah, it's I just curious. I think I agree with you. He's got till May. And then but man. So okay. In sports, there's you got to do things with ethics, right? I don't know the rules in MLS as far as this goes. Are you allowed to go kind of like, shh, quietly, go kind of start maybe interviewing coaches behind the back of your current coach? Can you do that? Or is it considered complete, whether it's illegal or just unethical, right?
I think it's these things probably happen, Peter. I'm sure they approached somebody before. Before they actually pull the trigger. But you kind of feel when they're going to pull the trigger. I mean, like in this case, there's that chance that they're going to pull the trigger, and not to have somebody ready would be, not a good idea, right? I would start conversations already.
Some teams, they fire the head coach with no plan, right? They may have a short list, right? But that's it, because they may go for a full season with their interim coach, and sometimes that interim coach becomes a head coach, sometimes he doesn't, right? So we could do that, but personally, I'd rather do that backroom deal stuff and already have a pretty good idea of who we might have lined up before we say goodbye to the current, right? But then, the difference would be if you got rid of Phil now and you put Jason Kreis. He's the obvious next in line.
Yeah.
He's also got MLS experience. He has been a good coach. He did well with Real Salt Lake. Not so much with New York or Orlando. But if you put him in, we can't be any worse.
That's true.
And then you can officially look for a head coach. But I don't know. It is an interesting question. Would they let him finish out his contract? I guess to me I don't know. I just flip-flop on this so much. Like 1 minute I'm thinking, you wait and see if you're getting Messi. Because if you're getting Messi, you give him a little time with Messi and see if Messi is the hero and he can turn it all around. And one player makes all the difference in the world. And now Phil Neville's a hero.
Right.
Or
best coach in the world.
Right. Or do you get rid of him before that ever happens? And then, but here's the risk.
Give him the chance.
Does Messi want to come to a club that's a mess?
That's another thing, and I think that's one of the reasons why he might be thinking Barcelona is probably a better option. He's lived there before. They made a tifo saying they want him. Well, I don't think they made a tifo. They were singing his name out because they want to bring him back. I've been telling the supporters groups, man, you should do a tifo. They haven't done it. I remember the last time we did a tifo.
Yeah,
and they just say, Messi, we want you or something, and that's enough for him to think.
Sure, that's important. But think about more today. The supporters clubs, where do they stand on this Neville thing? This is a time for them to get vocal and start holding up tifo, holding up signs, making chants about firing Neville if that's how they feel. I remember with the Miami Fusion, we had, what was his name? I'm sure One World, One Goal will help me with this. We had that Brazilian head coach.
Ivo Wertman?
That's it. And I remember signs that saying, Ivo must go. And where is the supporters clubs on this? Where are they? I would love to, I don't know. I'd love to hear from them, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Right. That's I'd like to hear that too. I mean, a lot of people are, I'm in the chat for some of these supporters group things, and they're pretty vocal about the time for change, but they're not doing the little signs and saying take him out just yet. I think he's got till the first days of May.
Yeah. We'll finish on this. I think Bruno is saying last year and even more the first year we were getting blown out. Now we lose by 1 goal every time. We just need 2+ goals a game, even if they start scoring more on us. So to his point, I think we are a better team, but we just can't finish. And at the end of the day, you start to think that, if this coach, so we're a better team. Who do you give that credit to? Do you give that credit to Chris Henderson because he found the players? Or do you give that credit to Phil Neville for doing a decent, not great, a decent job at coaching? I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to tell.
Man, I don't know. It's a tough one, man, Peter. And I think we're gonna find out if results don't change. I think something's gonna be done. I give him 3 more games.
I agree. All right. Daniel Koner is saying, just do a boycott like the Galaxy supporters are doing this with Klein. Well, I think the Galaxy's a worse situation. So, no, we don't need a boycott. Just start chanting and stuff like that. But, Ed, you know what I want to know about? What's going on tomorrow night?
Peter Brown, we're going to definitely talk a little more in tu idioma, in Spanish. We're going to have another show. We're going to basically talk about this, but in Spanish. So if you guys want to talk about somebody's head, if you want to talk about Tata Martino, you let us know. I'm always trying to talk with one of the supporters, one of the fans. So I always have mystery guests. Last week was the first time I had an actual journalist because I wanted to find out about Dixon Arroyo. Every now and then I'll bring somebody that's a journalist or something. But for the most part, I want to talk to the fans. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. ish.
Depends on traffic.
It depends on traffic. I've been a little bit late, but I'll be definitely within 9 p.m.
Ish.
It won't get to 10. Yeah,
Ish.
So 9 p.m. ish. I'll see you guys then.
All right. Sounds good. I look forward to that. Everybody in the chat, you were awesome tonight. You were a lot of fun. We felt like tonight we didn't need a guest because we knew that this was going to be a hot topic, and you guys made it fun. So thanks everybody so much for watching tonight. Thanks for everybody in the chat, for everybody that's joining in live. If you're watching this on replay, join us live. It's a lot of fun. You can leave voicemails, you can join in the chat, and all that kind of stuff. Join us every Sunday night. And as always, make sure to go to Caneswear and support them. Eric is asking if you take voicemails. Well, if Ed and I just talk about it, you can. But he had, But Eric, you don't speak Spanish, do you?
Well, yeah, that would be interesting. We'll definitely try doing the voicemail thing. So far, Peter's got the monopoly on that. We'll see how we can maneuver it. But for now, I think we're good. I always take questions from the chat, and I've got a live guest with me who's a supporter or one of the fans supporting Inter Miami. So we're good. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. ish.
All right. Richard's asking if I would do a live stream for Miami FC match. I don't know. It'd be kind of boring. I mean, I'm just watching the game from my phone. I think it would be kind of boring. I don't know. If you guys want to see a live stream, mention it in the comments on the later video. I don't know.
Maybe you can walk in and say, "Hey, I'm here."
I've done some like short drop-ins. I could do that, but do an entire live stream, I don't know. I did last year. I did a game day vlog, which I might do, but that wasn't live. It was something I edited and all that stuff. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9-ish for the Spanish show. Thanks, everybody.